2. 1.5 years today, Nanny said to Fatu as they walked through Chinatown looking for make-believe Gucci and Versace book bags. That's how long it's been since I came to America. 1.5 years, Fatu said, shaking her head and rolling her eyes. You count half years too? And you say no shame. She laughed. Let me tell you something. When you're in America, when Jones, and you still poor, and you no gonna count no more. You no gonna even say no more. No, you gonna shame to say anything, I tell you. Nanny chuckled as she picked up a Gucci tote, so determined to pass as real it glimmered. You're ashamed to tell people you have been here for 24 years? No, I no shame. Why no? Why I shame? I tell people I just come here. They hear me talk. They say, "Ah, she don't know English. She must do just come from Africa." The Chinese store owner rushed toward them. Take the bag for $60, he said to Nanny. Why? Nanny asked, contorting her face. I give you 20. The man shook his head. Nanny and Fatu started walking away. 40, 40, the man shouted as they pushed through a throng of European tourists. Okay, come take 40 for 30, he shouted. They went back and voted for 25. Now you look like a Angeli Jolie, Fatu said as Nanny walked with the bag on her arm, her curly wave flowing behind her. Really? Nanny said, tossing her hair. What you mean, really? You wanna look like Angeli Jolie? No? Nanny threw her head back and giggled. How she loved New York City. She still couldn't believe she was here. Couldn't believe she was walking around shopping for Gucci, no longer jobless. Onward, mother, sitting in her father's house in Lim. Sunrise to sunset, dry season to rainy season, waiting for Jant to rescue her. It didn't seem like 18 months already. It didn't like her 18 months already. Perhaps because she still remembered much about the day she and Naomi arrived at JFK. She still remembered how Jan then had stood at the terminal waiting for them, dressed in a red shirt and blue clip-on tie, a bouquet of yellow hydrangea in his hand. She still remembered how they had embraced and held each other for almost a minute in silence, their eyes tightly shut, to banish the agony of the past 2 years in which he had worked 3 jobs to save the money needed for her student visa, Naomi's visitor visa, and their airline tickets. She remembered how Naomi had joined in their embrace, grabbing both of their legs before Jan had paused from holding her to pick him up. She remembered how the apartment which Jan had recently found, after almost 2 years of sharing a two-bedroom basement apartment with 6 Puerto Rican men in the Bronx, was that night filled with Jan's laughter and her voice delighting him with stories from back home, alongside Leomi's squalls as father and son roughhoused and tickled each other on the carpet. She remembered how they had moved Leomi from their bed to the cot in the middle of the night so they could lie side by side, do all the things they had promised to do each other in emails and phone calls and text messages. And she still clearly remembered lying in bed next to Jan after they were done, listening to the sound of America outside the window, the chatter and laughter of African American men and women on the street of Harlem, and telling herself, I'm in America, I'm truly in America. She could never forget that day. Or the day 2 weeks after their arrival, when they were married at City Hall with Leomi as their ring bearer and Jan's cousin Winston as their witness. On that day in May 2006, She finally became a respectable woman, Almond declared worthy of love and protection. Lim was now some faraway town, a place she had loved less with every new day. Jan was not there. Without him to go for a walk on the beach with, go dancing with, or sit with at a drinking spot and enjoy a cold Malta Guinness on a hot Sunday afternoon, the town was no longer her beloved hometown, but a desolate place she couldn't wait to get out of. In every phone call during the time they were apart, she had reminded him of this, of her inability to stop daydreaming about the day she would leave Limb and be with him in America. I dream too, Bebe. He always said to her. Day and night I dream all kinds of dreams. On the other day, on the day she and Naomi got their visas, she had gone to bed with their passport under her pillow. On the night they left Cameroon, she felt nothing, as the bus her father had rented to drive them, and the 2 dozen family and friends who came along to escort them, pulled out from in front of their house to begin the 2-hour trip to Douala International Airport. She had smiled and waved at the neighbors and extended family members who had gathered on front lawn to enviously bid them farewell. She had taken a panoramic mental photograph of them, knowing her she wouldn't be missing them for too long, wishing them the same happiness she knew she was going to find in America. A year and a half later now, and New York City was her home, a place with all the pleasure she desired. She woke up next to the man she loved and turned her face to see their child. For the first time in her life, she had a job as a home health aide through her agency that paid her in cash. Since she had no working papers, she was a matriculated student for the first time in 16 years, studying chemistry at Broad of Manhattan Community College, never worrying about her tuition because she knew Jant would always pay the $3,000 a semester fee without grumbling, unlike her father, who unceasingly complained about his financial headache and delivered a lecture about CFA francs not growing on mango trees whenever one of his 8 children asked for money for school fees or new uniforms. For the first time in much too long, she didn't wake up in the morning with no plans except to clean the house, go to market, cook for her parents and siblings, take care of Leomi, meet with her friends, and listen to them bash their mothers-in-law, go to bed and look forward to more of the same the next day because her life was going neither forward nor backward. And for the very first time in her life, she had a dream besides marriage and motherhood, to become a pharmacist like the ones everyone respected in Limp, because they handed out health and happiness in pill bottles. To achieve this dream, she had to do well in school, and she was doing just that, maintaining a B plus safe average. 3 days a week she went to school, and after classes walked the school hallway with her Berkey algebra, chemistry, biology, and philosophy textbook, glowing because she was growing into a learned woman. As often she as often as she could, she sat in the library to do her homework or went to office hours to hound professor for advice on what she needed to do to get better grades so she could get into a great pharmacy school. She was going to make herself proud, make Jan proud of his wife, make Naomi proud of his mother. She'd waited too long to become something, and now, at 33, she finally had or was close enough to having everything she'd ever wanted in life.